What's good, Dusty Harris? Amazing Race Season 33, Challenge USA Season 2. Here cutting it up with Zach and his boy Pierre on the amazing podcast, Zach Nichols Podcast. We're digging in deep. You're going to get to know all the ins and outs, and if I truly love bananas, tune in.
All right, for our full episode featuring Dusty Harris from Challenge USA 2, log in and sign up on our Patreon.
Welcome back to the Zach Nichols Podcast on a Memorial 9/11. Here with my co-host, Mr. Zach Nichols.
Gets me every time. Every time.
Well, we're really happy. We got a second set of applause. Mr. Dusty Harris
What's good?
in the building today.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
I appreciate it.
So
guys.
where'd you come from?
I come from beautiful Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Deep into the mountains, a long car drive into Denver, some crazy travel, but
Is that where you're from originally?
originally from Miami, grew up in Missouri.
He's a Finns fan.
So Miami
Yep.
to Missouri.
And then to Colorado 3 years ago once we had our first
my
child.
gosh. What do you think about Colorado's airport?
It's something. There's some mysterious things going on. Under
Hell
that
yeah,
door,
that
so I
place is
hear.
good. Thank you. It's creepy as hell.
Yep.
How about that damn blue horse?
There's stories. There's tunnels.
dude,
it's a
so
demon.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here,
Okay,
guys?
so at Denver's airport, there's a statue
Yep.
of a big blue horse, and guess what its name is?
What?
Lucifer, and it has red glowing eyes at night.
Facts.
I'm like, I'll never come back here. And then there's some very, I'll let you interpret it, Google it, the art on the walls in the Denver airport. I'm not flying out of there ever.
There's rabbit holes, man. You can go down 'em.
Lucifer, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucifer, like, I mean, that's like some like weird emo kid getting control of something later in life, being like, I can name this.
Yeah, who commissioned that art? Lucifer?
Paint
Yeah.
it blue and name it horribly. Perfect.
Yeah, hold on a second. I got my cross.
Denver. Yeah, show it off.
You know what scares me, dude? That's freaking weird. At an airport,
I don't know
I
who
don't feel
allows that.
secure there.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, sorry.
We'll get to it.
Missouri. We're in
thank-
Missouri.
Thanks for making the track.
Columbia.
Okay, so people had some teeth.
Yeah, a few.
That's
We're-
where, is that where University?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yep.
okay. Beautiful campus.
That's where me and my boy Ryan grew up together, my amazing race partner. The
Gotcha.
wrongful conviction of his murder happened in our hometown of Columbia, Missouri.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's how I got onto the show, The Amazing Race. That's what started all this. My best friend was convicted of a murder he had nothing to do with and did 10 years in prison of a 50-year sentence.
So it was like making a murderer, but he won.
It's funny you say Making a Murderer. His attorney is Kathleen Zellner from season
Shut
2
up.
of Making a Murderer and got him out.
Were you involved in the didn't kill him murder?
I sure wasn't.
So you're not a murderer?
Nope, I had nothing to do with it.
Not. That is insane.
I was in college like 30 minutes away and my phone just erupted. And I'm like, what do you people want? And they're like, turn the news on.
So how close were you with Ryan whenever all this was happening?
Extremely close.
Did you visit him in prison?
I made contact with him. I was dealing with demons myself in college. And so not at a point to really travel to go to a prison visit, but we stayed in contact.
My gosh. Kathleen Zellner, I freaking, when I was watching Making a Murderer, I was sending her DMs. I'm like, I'm a PI.
Yeah.
I work for a PI company. Hit me up. I got some ideas. But I've heard that they didn't actually present all the evidence on that show, and he actually might, not like your friend Ryan, but he might be a little bit more guilty than everyone thinks.
Really?
That's what Candace Owens doing a thing on the Daily Wire.
That's
10-part series.
That's the type of media we like. Uncover the truth.
Yeah, kind of like Tucker Carlson. I can't even say it. How foul is that?
It was disgusting. For those of you who haven't seen, Tucker Carlson did an interview with this guy who had claimed to have done drugs and had,
He did cocaine and he had. Okay, go ahead.
he did a line off of Brock. Let's just say that.
7.5-inch line.
That's what this guy. That's what this guy was saying. And Tucker Carlson, who's what some might call a respected journalist.
I would say so.
Yeah, a lot of people would. Gave this guy 40 minutes of airtime. It was kind of crazy.
Well, here's my thing. Okay, so when you work for like CNN, Fox News, they have people who give them money, right?
Right.
Tucker Carlson is making his money now off of views and clicks and whatever. So if he gets caught like reporting something that ends up not being true, he loses money.
Right.
Whereas like all these other places are monetized by all these big companies. So I'm more into the independent. I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'm more into the independent journalists.
That's why our logo is the USA flag. It's because we are independent journalists. We're telling our narrative, and that's why we're bringing people to tell their own narrative.
Did Tucker Carlson just say that the government killed JFK too? I feel like he just came out with something.
Thank you for saying that, because if I say that, I'm gonna get roasted. But do you know how huge that story is? And it got like 15,
Crazy.
maybe 15 minutes. Yeah. that was a sitting president getting murdered by our own Central Intelligence Agency, and everyone's like, "Did you just see that TikTok video?" And I'm like, "Do you not understand what we are experiencing in our lifetime?"
It's crazy.
It's crazy stuff.
And we need people like Tucker and Candace to at least be able to say their side. But it was a foul is the word.
Yes, fuck. Listen, how you hide, like, let's just move into this episode, because I'll go on all day long on this stuff, and that's what I want to.
So the first question I have for you, Dusty, has to do with your boy Wes. Do you have a favorite Wes moment in your life, or watching, or on the season?
I mean, for the gingerbread man, I can think of, like, outside of my season, his pole wrestle with Derek was something of lore.
Well,
I think it's season
top
20.
5. Yeah, that's
For
a top
sure.
5 moment. Actually, I'm not afraid to say that. But here's my question: Were you excited to meet Wes?
I had no clue what vets would be there. I knew vets would be there.
But so if you could pick, let me just ask you this.
Yep.
So you don't know what vets are going to be there. We know that you kind of knew Banana was going to be there.
Yep.
And I give you credit for reaching out for him, because that's trying to play the game. But
Absolutely.
one thing you have to remember about Mr. Bananas is he's never going to turn down an opportunity to get a laugh.
Yep.
So you got to be careful with him. And you
I
didn't know
learned.
that. And
I
you
learned.
learned,
I
because he, like, everything about, he just exploited you. But you didn't know it was going to be there. So let's just say there's going to be 6 people. You have no, like, going into it, what 6, 3 guys and 3 girls did you want to see there? Like, if you could pick your all-star 6, who would it be to be there, to meet, and to compete with?
Guy-wise, I'm going to say Bananas, Wes, and, man, everyone would say CT, and I would love to, compete against CT, but realistically, man, I think the Don Dada right now would be Jordan. I would like to take a crack against him. He seems to perform well.
Oh, yeah, he's an animal.
Dude, and everyone said that him and I put the work in. I'm always running. They're like, you two would literally run each other to death. Like, living in the house together.
I haven't seen it yet. I can't give you that, but I can tell you, boy can run.
I know, absolutely.
The thing about Jordan too is it's like, you play baseball ever?
Yeah, grew up playing
so
baseball.
You're right-handed, I'm assuming?
I'm a lefty.
You're a lefty.
Yeah.
Okay, so for normal right-handed batters, going against a left-handed pitcher is so crazy. Imagine that times 5,000, because everything he has to do is something you've never seen, and he either has to figure it out in the moment, or he's practiced doing it with what he's got going on, and you've never seen it, and you're like, so he's always has a different approach, and you have to keep that in mind when going against him. So he's like a Swiss Army knife, and his endurance is top notch. Did you see what he did to Durrell in All Stars?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Durrell's no slouch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's when I was like,
I thought I was going to meet Durrell for a minute.
yeah, I was hoping that you don't want to meet Durrell.
He was lurking in the cut.
Not in the sand. You don't want to meet Durrell in the sand. I'll tell you that. So okay, you said so Jordan, Wes, and Bananas.
Yeah,
you know what? CT, that's like, those are all interchangeable guys. I think that's our top tier. I think that's like, anyone have an argument for Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Now, girl-wise,
Laurel would have to be one. It's I would walk on eggshells.
It's an experience.
I would have to take it in.
Yes.
I mean, one, she's a Don Dada on the female side, to me, in my opinion.
On the male side,
She eats, man. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't just perform; she will bust your ass verbally.
She's frightening.
Yeah, the complete package. Man, Tori is the real deal.
For sure.
Like, seeing her perform in person,
Absolutely.
everything is advertised.
and as messy as ever as well.
It's savage.
Yeah.
And then, man, I'm trying to think otherwise. You know who's a beast that I would like to see come back would be Cam. Killer Cam. I think she had a bright spot for the few seasons she was in. She could do damage. I'd be interested running a season with her and seeing her in person too.
I think she was maybe 1 or 2 seasons from going on like a winning streak.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, those, I didn't see her in her last finals, but from her first final I ran with her on Vendettas to what she did on World of Worlds 2, it was like how she was able to get that endurance into going into World of Worlds 2. She was about to be unstoppable. And I think she did well on those next couple finals. I think she made, I want to say, not Spies, Lies, and Allies, but one of those ones in there. And I think she did really well. She just finished second. But yeah, that was a bit, damn.
Yeah, she had the political game on lock too.
For sure.
And Cam's also very intimidating too. Like, cause she's not afraid to just like pull the guillotine out and chop a head. So
I respect people that can compete. What you need to be able to do on the challenge, it's important.
that's what I like. That's why I'm glad you're here. Did you
bring it on the back end too? Like, you got to bring some shit to the house, some drama, something. And I feel like
that should happen naturally with real world kids, though.
Absolutely.
That's what we were brought in to do. But okay, so you basically got You got a good taste, though. I mean, I think that
Yeah, you're on some legends.
I would have liked. I want to see CT come back because I just think he's the best to watch.
I hear Leroy. I'm going to give an asterisk to Leroy too, because everyone said that Leroy is like the funniest person to spend time with.
Never stop laughing.
And you like don't get that with the edits. Like I never would have pegged that. And so,
oh my gosh, no, he doesn't get. I mean, I'd say he gets 1% of the credit he deserves for how funny he is. I mean, most people will just go hang out in his room and just once he gets on a roll,
yeah,
you nonstop.
That shit is priceless in a house.
You
with
need
the pressure
it.
cookers on,
You
man.
need it. Oh yeah, for sure.
What you said is crazy about Jordan because like he is kind of like that backup that you don't have tape on, and once he comes in the game, you're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do with this. And
just unorthodox.
Yeah,
everything is different, and you have to adapt to it, and you don't know. He makes what should be a weakness a strength. Obviously, like pole wrestle and those types of things, like that's gonna be harder. But I mean, he beat Josh in tug of war.
Right.
Ian swinging a hammer.
Right.
I mean,
the tug of war strategy against Josh was brilliant, man. To bait him and let that rope go and drop him off.
Yeah,
brilliant, man.
yeah. He got Josh tired enough that he was off his toes.
Yeah,
and Josh's back was killing him.
I learned real quick with these vets, like I didn't think experience mattered as much as it did, but just to be able to look at these dailies and have a different perspective and just little changes you make, separate the pros from the judges.
Well, and it's also being able to look at a puzzle or look at a situation and find the most efficient way to do it. Like if you noticed. On my season of Champs for Stars, you had Terrell Owens, you had some good athletes, right? And these challenge vets who are smoking cigs, drinking nonstop, we're going in and we're whooping ass because it's kind of like CBS kids are like your like gold, like poodles, golden doodles, and then like the challenge kids are like junkyard dogs. Like,
right.
If you're not ready to go, we'll bite every bit of meat off you.
The mentality between the vets and the rest of us, you could just see it. It's almost like, is there something wrong with you vets for doing this for so long?
Yes, 100%.
And it's like, we're all dying in the house. The stress, your first time through this, like everything is a big deal.
It's a vacation for me.
It's crazy how they're kicking their feet up, loving it. And it's like,
bro, I make full-fledged, like I'm up at like 3 a.m. working out, and then I'm making breakfast. And it's almost like being like going, after you go to a prison a couple times, you end up having fun there.
Right.
Yeah.
Take you back to jail.
We're institutionalized. Like we're so used to it. And like we used to do it for like, my first challenge, I got $1,000 a week. Like, I make more money now, and all my jobs I've ever had since college. I'm like, this is a pay cut. Luckily, I didn't even think I was going to win. That was the thing. Like, I went in my first one. I'm like, yeah, I'll be here for like 3 or 4 weeks.
End up taking it down.
Yeah, and then I thought I was never going to lose.
Speaking of that, you were named by Entertainment Weekly.
It was Entertainment Weekly, yeah.
Yeah, as a top 50 challenger all time. Congratulations. Give Zach a round of applause for that.
hell yeah. Well deserved, my friend.
No.
Wait, hold up. Did your wife also make the list?
Oh, yeah. And that's
Give John a round of applause.
I'm married to one of the top 50 challengers of all time.
Oh, man. It's a lot of pressure for the kids.
She might be one of the only ones in there without a win. That's how convincing her gameplay is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
if she didn't break her ankle, she would have won Champs for Stars for sure.
Oh yeah,
that's no doubt. I say that all the time, and we know what that is. But still, that's a win for her.
How's it feel to be the power couple of the challenge?
We're not. We didn't even get mentioned in the couple part of the documentary.
I'm trying to think who's bigger.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you right now. Is everyone's like, oh, you're gonna be on 40? They didn't even ask me to be in the couple portion of the documentary. I have a wife from the challenge, and we're having our 3rd child under 3, and they didn't mention us in that. And we were messy as hell for like 5 years, real messy. Like you're not gonna talk about that. They didn't talk about Carl or Paulie either. I was like, screw this documentary. I'll give you my own. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, and that was
my own documentary. But
we said it once, we said it before. You try to tell the story of the challenge without Zach Nichols, without Jenna Capona, you can't. In the same way, you can't do it without Cara Maria. So
it was silly. It was a silly editing decision, but who cares?
That doesn't mean we don't want him on 40, guys. I don't mind being without him for the pod.
To your question, being a power couple in the challenge. It's not. It makes it, being there together makes it way worse.
I can only imagine.
We hated competing together. It was the absolute worst. So
I'm interested to see what's about to transpire once we get into it too. With some relationship started, it's already gases on the fire.
Yeah, let's talk about the episode.
Yeah, we got to do that because
we're already getting started.
So, Lucifer, baby, let's go.
Yeah, Lucifer.
That's so crazy. Like, here's the thing about that. like, remember back in the day when, like, if you were like, oh yeah, I worship the devil, everyone, 99.9% of people would be like, dude, you're a weirdo. Now
weird.
people are like,
It's cool.
People are like, sweet, good for you. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, the agent of darkness, like the nastiest things you can think of, Satan is behind it, and that's your.
It's encouraged
thank
today.
you.
Amanda's lurking in the cut.
Oh gosh, don't even. All right. Anyways,
All right, so we'll get started here. It starts off by reminding us that Michaela beats Tiffany, and it's now an individual advantage.
did we really have to be reminded of that? Did we really have to be reminded? Like, Tiffany's awesome TV, but she's totally Big Brother. Like we were just saying, the challenge is such a physical beast compared to Big Brother.
No question.
Survivors, I'll give Survivor people credit because they're like they suffer,
Right.
Like, and sometimes you suffer on the challenge, but I mean, besides the island, there's never been like months and months of suffering. I would never do Survivor. I think the host is a douche, and I just couldn't. I personally couldn't do it. I like to eat.
100%. Survivor.
They starve them boys and girls.
Yeah,
man.
that's not cool.
Hearing
man.
the back end stories of what really, it's like, oof.
That's
Yeah.
a great point, though. It's like they really do go through a fucking hard
But
time.
here's my question. I don't know this, and I may be wrong for saying this, but did the host of Survivor ever win Survivor or ever win something like Survivor? Or is he just on there acting tough for no reason? Because that's the one thing I want to say about the challenge. Our host beat death, and he was a gold medalist. Yes, and he's a gold medalist BMX biker. So it's like, when it comes to host, dude, we got it. I mean, Julie Chen, I get it. There's the allure. I don't even know who the host
It's
is.
Phil, good old Phil.
Is he legit? Did he win anything?
He didn't, but he's a bad man from New Zealand. He's an avid like road cycle. He's a bad boy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's Amazing
He's
Race,
legit,
Phil?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's legit. I'm all about that, but I'm saying, like, this guy from Survivor showing up looking like, Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
It's like, how badass were you? Because that's a show, like, for example, Joe Rogan, no one questioned him when he hosted Fear Factor.
Right.
They're like, dude, Joe would do this. No matter what it is, Joe's got it.
And then he hosts obviously the UFC stuff. And what does he do? He trains in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He's in the ring getting
He's
his
got
ass
the
kicked.
sweetest tats of all time. He got the tats, and no one questions him anymore. Like, yeah, he's legit. But that's my point. So I just think, I personally, and I'm so biased, but I think the challenge when it comes to competition shows, I think it's the best.
No question.
There you go.
Yeah. So, anyways, because everyone likes being on it. Like, listen, everyone wants to be on the challenge, I feel like.
Yeah, you crushed my dreams of ever being the host, but I still think I can be the house homie. I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm rallying.
He's just in the house hanging out.
Yeah.
Cooking, just talking shit.
I think
Who wants pasta tonight?
got to get it done, baby.
We got to talk to TJ about that. But yeah. So now that there are no teams in the house, this is for you. And I asked Zach this before, but who do you think this change benefited that like the viewer might not expect?
I would say with it going to individual, which really shocked me. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to go to pairs, not individual.
It's going individual.
But then you start realizing that the unbalanced, elimination. So that kind of gave it away as well.
And they'll pair up in the final, I'm sure, at certain points. And they'll pair up for challenges, but I think it was going to go individual because they had a guy and a girl winner.
Yeah, I think at the moment, like everything in it, you got to think Survivor's in a pretty good spot. They have the numbers in the house. They seem to be working well together for the most part.
Yeah.
So they're sitting pretty just because they have numbers.
For sure.
And they only need one of them to win.
They're all weirdos.
Yeah.
Who have starved
They
to
are.
death.
They are
They have
weirdos.
Survivor definitely has a chip on their shoulder.
And they're clicked hard. And it's like,
dude.
it's, for
Yeah,
sure.
I would never get into that. So here's my question. Had you still been there, let's just say you didn't go into elimination round, Wes is still there. Do you think you'd be in a better spot in an individual game, or do you think you'd be in a better spot on the team still?
I 100% believed my goal was to get to where it's
100%. I agree with you there.
Yeah, it's it gave me the opportunity to win and take care of myself and then start making power decisions in the house. But I felt like with the vets who I'd kind of aligned with, I felt like there was always going to be a good chance that one of those people
That's what I was going to say.
were going to win.
I think you saw that you had you weren't with the Big Brother really. You weren't with Survivor because they were clicked up. Were you the only Amazing Racer?
There was two of us.
Lewis.
And Lewis was there
Gotcha.
too.
So, but that didn't help you out at all. So my question is, like, do you think because Bananas won this first one, that would have given you a little bit of more social of a credit score to kind of, and you would have had West, you'd have had the vets, so it would have been a Survivor person probably had to win to take you out.
Sure.
Because I think that because of Bananas, he could get Josh to protect you as well. So you were sitting better in an individual game, but I still think the Survivor people we're going to come for you.
Absolutely. How I saw it was, and why the decision was made, I tried to just fly it under the radar, but anyone who watches the challenge, you got to draw a line eventually, or you're going to get slammed.
Well, you got all those votes, so what are you going to do? Really try to like fly under the radar? You already got 6 votes. It's
no
like,
blood on their hands. There's one Amazing Race guy left. This is going to be easy.
Right.
You're
you can only come back for one person.
Absolutely.
So I'd have done the same thing if I had a big group too.
There's 2 totem poles. There's the challenge vet one, and then there's the rest of the house. It's like I would rather be the bottom of a smaller totem pole where you need me as a number than the top or bottom of a big one.
Exactly. And you were going to be at the bottom of either one, but because you were in the smaller one, they were going to ride for you harder. So I think you were absolutely in a better place if you would have made it to the individual part.
I think I would have busted people's ass in individual competitions too. I mean, I felt like the daily that started, the next episode we're going to discuss, I would have eaten lunch, baby.
That concludes the free preview of the Zach Nichols podcast.
So go to Patreon and subscribe to see the rest of the shit that we talk.
Go do it now.